Okay, so we have a very special video here. We're at the Eden Club at Petawny Castle, and we have David Leadbetter. Now,
thank you for joining us,
David. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Now,
David is one of our biggest influences on our coaching, and I think you have created an industry for golf coaches. Maybe you've given us jobs by the work that you have done.
Well, thank you. Nice of you to say that.
It's absolutely been, the work that you've done has really helped us a lot.
Definitely, and we're here today because David has his new A-swing out, and it's a very different thing, but it's something that you've developed over the years as a golf coach, and it's something we've done a video on recently. So if you haven't seen this video, make sure you click the link here. It'll give you a great insight into what is created, and it's something you must be very excited about because it is, I suppose, a long time and accumulation of all the years of coaching. So it's an interesting part.
It is, Andy. I mean, this is the first real sort of different approach that I've had in 10 years, and so I wanted to bring something out which was a little different, maybe a little controversial, and something which could change up the way people think about how the swing is undertaken, shall we say. And it's, A stands for alternative, and essentially it's an alternative backswing to make the downswing that much easier, because I think that's where most people really have a problem in getting the club back into a consistent slot, shall we say, which enables them then to come down in a synchronized manner to hit the ball squarely. And so we've seen some great results so far. I mean, it's really been very pleasing to see some of the results we've had from every level of play. And we spent a couple of years testing it. It wasn't as if we just brought it out overnight. We spent 2 years. We had every level of player from beginner to tour player level, and across the board, I have to say, we've seen some tremendous results. And we've had it scientifically tested as well, but from a biomechanist friend of mine, JJ Rivet, who's based in France. And he said, in the testing that he's done, I mean, they do all, obviously 3D analysis, that he's found that the way that a player can transfer energy into the ball, it's the closest thing he's seen for, say, a 15 handicapper to look more like a tour player in the way that they actually pass that energy into the ball. So all in all, as I say, I just think that in many respects, look, we've been stuck in the status quo for many years now, and we've had slight differences, maybe stack and tilt and what have you. But I think that it's not radical. There's still some traditional aspects to it, and I think we don't disagree necessarily how we sort of come down into the ball. But there's a lot of disagreement about how the club should be taken back, and I think this is probably the most confusing area of the golf swing. So hopefully this A-swing can really help people to get it. And along with it, we've included a 7-minute practice plan where people can literally just do some little six simple little swing exercises, which if they do it without a golf ball, they can start to feel what they're trying to do. Because the ultimate, as you know, look, you want to go out and play golf and not really have to think about your swing. Yeah. So if it's simple enough and you've done it enough times, you've got some reps under your belt, hopefully you can get out and play and think in terms of where you want to hit it as opposed to how you're going to hit it.
That's perfect for the majority of people watching this video. Are going to be people who haven't got the time perhaps to practice as much as they'd like, and they can do this in the garden, they can do this out the range.
Absolutely.
7 minutes a day, I sound
7 minutes a day.
7 minutes a day. You heard of 7-minute abs, right? Now you got 7-minute golf swing.
Perfect. Right now we've got a real treat. This is the best part of the video because you get to analyse Andy's golf swing after he's hit some golf shots.
Right.
And I'm really looking forward to this.
I'm the student today. What's
you are
going
the student
on?
for once.
Yeah.
And David, as I said, be as harsh as you can.
I will.
Should we watch him hit some shots? Yeah?
Absolutely.
All
Let's
right,
go ahead. Let's see. Right. All right. So there's a couple of things I would say here. First of all, let's drop the club there for a second. Okay. So, what's your idea of a pivot? I mean, people talk in terms of the word turn, which I think is a very overused word. Because turning, I mean, I can turn, and to me, talking out and coiling is way more important than actually turning.
Yeah. So I mean, I think whenever I sort of think about turning, I always feel that it is more of a wind up or a coil or a load into my right side. And in the past, I've maybe got a little bit sort of left-sided, so I do have the thought in my mind is sometimes of just really winding up against this right side, this stable right side.
Interestingly enough, what we found sort of through studying the body, essentially physiology, is that the muscle fibers sort of run this way, like in a V form. Okay, they don't sort of run horizontally. So one of the ways that I talk in terms of a pivot and we use this exercise quite a bit, is actually where you're moving this way. So it's almost like a piston type effect. Because to me, your turn is a little too level.
Okay.
And you know, some of that is certainly, I would say, probably thought process. But I think that if you just put your hands actually inside your, yeah, all right. Now what I want you to do, I want you to go up and down here. Just make your back swing. There we go. Good. That's it. Good. Now you should feel almost like a spiraling effect up here, rather than, see, that's different to this.
Yeah, it's definitely
You feel the difference.
Yeah.
Okay, so watch you as you work it again. There you go. Right. Now you see you're still nicely behind the ball here, so you probably feel here in doing this pivot that your shoulder plane is a little steeper.
Definitely.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay, now you can start to unwind. Okay, right now revert through. There we go. That's it. Almost like reverse the process, shall we say? Okay, there now.
It's definitely
forward.
steeper the shoulder plane is than it normally would be at that point.
Right now through.
That's for sure.
Right, good. Now, so that would be my idea of maybe the way that you should pivot. Okay, now to complement that, okay, so let's take your club there. Okay, so take your setup for me. Okay, because what we see, there's a fairly early rotation of your forearm. Okay,
Yeah.
one of the things with the A-swing is that we're really advising that you really have no face rotation. You want to feel like that the club face actually feels closed. So if you set up to the ball here, all right, your posture is actually pretty good. I might just maybe have a little more of a pelvic tilt here. So maybe put a little bit more weight forward here, because to me, if you have your sort of rear end stuck out quite as much as you do, I mean,
Yep.
you've got a very nice rear end, I have to say, Andy. But, okay, but if you stick it out a little too much there, all right, you may find that obviously your balance being back, it tends to want to work the club around you. So from here, this is the feeling. So just close your eyes. I'm going to give you a feeling here. Close your eyes and sense this now. So you can see this elbow points down, and I want you to have the same sense with your pivot that we just did with that little drill a second ago. Okay, let's do that again. So close your eyes. So let's feel this pivot. I'll give you the feeling here. Here we go. Up the chest it goes. That's it. Now, that may feel a little different to you.
Yeah, very different. Yeah.
Okay. So let's just have a look at your grip here, because one thing I would say to you, and this is part and parcel of this A-swing, is we've suggested a slight change in grip where you get a little stronger with the left, a little weaker with the right. So if we just strengthen the left a little, okay, so keep the thumb and forefinger together there. Now I'll put the right hand on top there. Good.
So that'd be almost getting hands to more meet each other almost.
Exactly.
So the left hand comes more to the right and right hand more to the left.
Exactly. And you'll see as this actually encourages, okay, as we make the movement here, you can see, right, now you can see, all right, first of all, club face feels a lot more close to you, doesn't it?
Close,
A lot of people say, wow, that looks dead shut. But the interesting thing is, as you now set that right wrist and the vertical nature of the shaft here, as we complete the backswing, the club face is really hanging down in a very neutral position. So regardless of where it is here, that's not where people should concern themselves with. I mean, if you look at Monty, I mean, he always had that very closed look here, but not necessarily as closed at the top. He was a hair maybe at times, but yeah, that's really good there.
We always say, David, sorry, just on that one, we always say that a lot of people ruin their golf swings by over rotation of that club
Absolutely, absolutely. Right, now just wind up. Good. Now I'm just going to borrow this little boomerang here, okay? This is a cute little tool here. We just wedge it up under the arm here, because what I don't want you to do is to actually raise the arms. I want you to feel like you're winding it to the top here. So here we go, watch. There. Now, do you feel, so you feel almost like the bicep and your pec are pinched together.
Yep.
Okay, so you don't really need to lift your arms in any form or shape. And the great thing about this is you swing down, okay, here we can let it go. Let the thing fall out as you follow through. That's it. But the great thing about this, regardless of whether it works or not, is that you don't have to bend over and pick it up, because it's got a magnet there, and there you go. You see? So
that's always
lazy man's way of practicing. So let's wedge it up there again.
Interesting with the arms you're saying there, David. Is that something that JJ has spoken to you about the link between the biceps and the pecs?
Exactly.
Very important.
Very important.
Generating that power and
exactly.
consistency.
That's it. Good. Okay. Once again. So I'm going to do this once more. I'm going to give you this little pivot feel again. So start again as a dress there. All right, so here we go. Watch how you're going to feel. Let's go here. Keep going. There you go. That's it. No. So you feel this is higher, this is lower. Almost like this right hip is hiking upwards.
Yeah.
You feel that?
Yeah.
Okay, this feels lower. Okay. And even if this is a slight departure from my thoughts in the past, where we always talked about keeping the flex in the right knee. We always heard Nick Fowler talking about, hey, sitting down the knee. Well, even if it's a hair of a straightening, it's not the end of the world as long as everything's winding inside.
It's
winding.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard work, that is.
All right, here we go. All right, so
That's it, David. Put him through it, David.
we'll
Wear
put
him
him through
out.
the
It's a
ring
good
again.
workout for me.
There we go. So that's it. Tuck those hips underneath a little more. There you go. Right, now go. Perfect. Now, you should feel as you start to move forward that you really engage those arms to a point where you can see as you move, they move.
Yeah.
And the club face you can see now is on a very neutral plane. Now from here you can go ahead and just release it. In other words, this forearm at this point can just sort of turn down, and you know, we speak about, hey, the flat left wrist or slightly bowed left wrist. I mean, that's no different to, you know, what's been taught for years. But to get to that point is the key. So one of the things I would suggest you do, take your setter, give you a half decent lie here.
Oh no, stamp on it, David.
Stamp on it. All right, so I'm going to get your arms a little more this way too. That's it, good. So not quite as much. Okay,
yeah.
The more you have this arm this way, the more tendency wants to do that. So just soften those arms a little bit. There we go.
That'll help with the grip as well, I'd have thought.
It will. It actually definitely will. You did right there. Right, so now watch here. So I'm going to get you to here. Okay, all right. Now from there, okay, you're going to set that right wrist, wind up and let it go. Good. So this is how I'd like you to hit balls to start with. So it's called the sort of the third of the way back position, or the 30%, because it's basically about a third of the way back.
Stronger left, weaker right.
That's it. Use your core now. There you go. Right, you ready to give it a go here now?
Yeah.
All right, so load that right wrist and off you go. Okay. Do it again. It'll feel quite simple to you once you get this. It's the right hand on top. That's it. All right, now you just load that right wrist. Now, can you look at the shaft there? It almost feels like it's matching your spine.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you don't quite get there, it's not the end of the world. I mean, even if you're here, I'd be perfectly content with that. Right, now just wind it up. There you go. Really good. Now as you work it down here now, good. Now we can start to think in terms of this starting to turn out of the way. There you go. Because what happens is, problems when you get stuck a little bit, it takes a while for these to open up.
Yeah.
So this way you can actually open up now and actually hold the face much squarer through impact.
Definitely see that from Randy swing through the golf ball. There's that element of sticking, and
right.
You know, I blame it on his hips being an old man and everything, but no, he's not having that.
There you
he
go.
Thinks it's his technique.
So as early as that.
That's it, right there. Perfect.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah,
Just, okay, so hold that there. Right. Now just close your eyes, wind up. Club feels slightly across, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that looks great. Now as you start down, that's it. Right, now just open up. Go ahead. There you go. That's it. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So let's try that again. So let's get back to about 30%. There you go. Nice. All right, wind it up and off you go. All right, now I'm going to talk to you about one other thing, because see, one of the things I think that's happened in your swing, is the release has, because you've been a little stuck here, you've had a little bit of a sort of a crossover release. Now, one of the things we talk about, if you're going to throw a ball, it's interesting to note that if I throw a ball, you can see, look which way my right hand goes. You can see here. So as we do it, watch here. So look at my right hand here. You see where my right hand goes there? It's actually, I'm doing this. So there's no need for you to, everybody thinks they got to, people who slice in particular, I got to roll the forearms. Well, actually, if you just look at my right hand here, watch. You can see if I do it towards the camera there, watch. Look at the move. So this actually, it squares the face off without actually closing it.
It's a different move to what I would definitely be doing.
Because you've made two pretty good swings there.
Yeah.
All that happened was that you just rolled the forearm.
Close the face.
Right, so take your setup now. So let's see here. An easy way to feel this is actually, we do this as part of the little 6 swing exercise is splitting your hands about an inch. Get to here, right now. Wind it up. Now as we work down. Now watch this feel here. Look at your right hand.
Yeah.
You see the difference with your right hand?
Yeah.
And the interesting thing to note, okay, if you look at this position here, okay, let's do it facing the camera, turn around this way. All right, so swing it back. All right, now as we come down here, look at this angle, okay, the right wrist is bowed back, the left wrist is starting to bow forward. Now, as we release it here, if you were Phil Mickelson coming back into the ball in the opposite direction, look what happens. You've actually got a mirror image as you come down, look, of this wrist being bowed and this wrist being bowed backwards. You can see. So it's really, that's one of the myths, I think, and we see players do it. And generally speaking, when you get a drive in your hand, but that tends to happen. But with the irons, there's no way, there's no reason, and that you have to actually let the right arm flip over the left. So let's see let's see if we can do one.
So a
with that
slightly
same-
different release there.
It is, you know, because everything is a yin and yang in golf, all right? If you change one thing, you've almost got to change another thing to match it. So here we go, we wind it up and we work it down here. So watch here as we unwind. Now watch your right hand here. Good, so, okay. And actually, if you look at that club face is actually on plane here.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a beautiful picture of Ben Hogan at this point here, and you see his right wrist is that way, and the club face, that's exactly the way the club face looks. There's none of this sort of roll over.
I think it's very interesting when you're seeing that. When, you know, I think the biggest thing that the people watching this at home can actually get from this is, you know, obviously all you said there about the face position, but something that hasn't really been mentioned is the V plane, as you call it. Obviously,
Right.
This sort of shallowing of the golf club almost.
Absolutely.
To the way down.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially for better players, this release is important. But for the average player, if they can picture, this is one side of the V here. Okay, work it back down. This is the other side of the V here.
Yeah.
And so, if you can get into this position coming down, I can tell you, it's hard to hit too bad a shot.
The biggest one we see is the reverse of that. So the reverse V plane. That's the one we're going to see a lot.
Right. So let's hit one nice and easy. So we're going to get you about 30% back away here. That's it. Good. Now just load that right wrist. Let's see that release now. Come on. All right. That was close.
Still heavy on
That
that one.
one of those ones where you stood on the ball, David. Yeah, before you,
That
that's the one
was,
we
yeah.
wanted.
That's okay. That's okay. So I know we're throwing a lot of it right now.
Yeah.
But essentially, what we obviously do, we get the posture right, which is yours is pretty good. Get that slight grip change going. Get this feeling on the backswing. Now you start. Now move forward here. There you go. Good. That's really. I mean, you can see the shaft is now coming through his right forearm.
Absolutely. And normally on Andy's bad ones, it would be coming in high, wouldn't it? Be coming
This
in
way.
steeper.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Yes.
Right, now as you unwind, now from here, hit it with your right hand. Don't worry, I mean, hey, you know, Ben Hogan used to say, I wish I had three
Three
right
of them,
hands.
yeah, absolutely.
You know, so let it go.
And I think the big thing is, especially for Andy, what he can get from this is the fact that his body, as we've said there, is allowed to move properly through the ball now.
Absolutely.
Whereas before it was difficult, it would stick, it would get
Oh,
stuck.
there we go. Now see, that had no
didn't see that
sign
one.
of that thing wanting to go this
Yeah,
way.
that really did feel.
Yeah, it's such
Like-
a strong feeling. And you know, the
Yeah.
great thing is too, it encourages your body to open up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so the tendency, obviously, for a good player who hits the ball this way, what do they want to do? They want to do that. They don't want to go left.
Yeah,
okay, so
absolutely.
they hang on to it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we found this was a much simpler approach than even our staff. You know, obviously we have academies all over the world, and the staff find it very easy to get the message across to people. And that, to me, is if you can keep things simple. I mean, that's a big part of the battle that's
We
won.
always say that when our clients leave us, we want them to make sure, you know, we ask them to tell us what they've learned from the lesson, what they've done. And I think from this, there's a definite, you know, there's a higher chance possibly of people actually sort of going, I know what to do now. You know, they can go home and tell their wife, you know, I know what I need to do. I need to hold it like this. I need to do this and this, and those movements are a lot easier. For
Well,
them
you know,
to
we had
recollect almost.
I run this radio show in America, and we had this one guy call, and he said, you know, he said, I bought the book. He said, I tried a couple of things. You can't believe how I hit it. He says, my wife was so despondent about golf, wanted to give up. I gave her a couple of these tips. She hit it great too. You saved our marriage. Well, thank you. I didn't realize that was going to happen.
Most important job in the world, marriage
Yeah.
guidance.
But-
Andy,
I enjoyed that. That was
feel you could do something like that, yeah?
that was a lot different compared to what I would normally do. That would need a little bit of practice from
Yeah.
me, you know. But I think what I would do with that personally is take those elements and work at that backswing first. I'd want to get the backswing feeling like I could do it comfortably first and then get
Absolutely.
it ingrained. But it's certainly something I could put into my golf.
Yeah, there is a 7-minute practice plan. I know you're
Yeah,
busy,
we
I
should
know
do
you're
that.
busy, but yeah, you might want to get
We
into
should
Do a
that.
4-minute one. I'll be able to do a 4-minute one.
I definitely think you can help him on through the ball for sure.
No question.
Having worked with Andy
Yeah,
for a long
because his
time.
body
now.
actually moves. It's funny, when you let your body move, it wants to move in a certain fashion. It's like it's, you know, if you, for instance, if you did this pivot, you would not want to do this. Okay, but you instinctively do that
Yeah.
because, you know, the club is out of position, your body's reacting to it. So if you can, my way of thinking, you get that club almost in front of you, as people like to describe it as, which is really what it is, because as you make this movement, your hands get in front, even though the club is shallowing out. Then you can actually let it go. And I say, for most of the viewers, I mean, it really is a way that you can learn to hit a draw. And the key is, I mean, good players, obviously, they don't want to overdraw it. But if you learn to release it correctly, you know, you can move it any way you want to. And so it's been very gratifying, and just from some of the results that we've seen, and say if it's a talking point for instruction, then that I'm all for it.
I'll video his swing and send it to you in 2 months.
Absolutely, yeah. Love to see it.
Give you feedback back. David, that has been fantastic.
Thank you
We've
very
been
much.
doing the
Really
David
enjoyed
Leadbetter
that.
countdown for the last month or so, you know, counting down the days to meet, because you have been a massive influence on our careers.
Thank
and
you.
we really appreciate your time in doing this for us, for sure.
And just for the guys at home, I mean, if they want to learn more about the A-swing, you know, where can they go to?
They can go to leadbetteraswing.com, and we are going to start to certify instructors because I think it's very easy to teach teachers to teach this. It's easy to learn, but it's easy to teach teachers to teach as well. And so, I mean, for players who are having problems with their game, it may be something that might be a real lifesaver.
Absolutely. Why
Might
not?
save your marriage.
Might save
as
your
well.
marriage, exactly.
The boomerang on my arm. I completely forgot that. There we go.
Guys, that's fantastic again.
Post your questions down below. We'd love to hear what you've got to say. Big thank you to David and the team here at Pitorni.
Don't forget, you can use this little club. You see, there's no excuse now when you're traveling or you're at home and you don't want to break the chandelier or whatever. You know, use this little club for your little 7-minute practice.
I'll be
play.
taking that with me. Thanks,
We'll
guys.
still
Thanks,
some of this.
guys.
Thanks for watching.
Cheers for watching.